Good evening. We're going to give folks just a couple more minutes before we go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Alexandra Berenter, Deputy Director of External Affairs with the Public Utilities Department at the City of San Diego. Our team appreciates the opportunity to educate everyone here about our water and wastewater systems and to keep you informed about the upcoming rate adjustment. With me today, we have Juan Guerrero, Director of our Public Utilities Department.
Good evening, everybody.
Lisa Salaya, Executive Assistant Director of the Public Utilities Department.
Good evening.
And Adam Jones, the Deputy Director of Finance for the department.
Good evening.
Before we give you a rundown of our discussion today, I want to direct you all to the Zoom Q&A box. If at any time you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the Q&A box to submit your questions. We'll answer as many questions as possible during the Q&A segment at the end of the meeting. Our discussion tonight will cover 5 areas. We'll provide an overview of our complex water and wastewater infrastructure and operations. Second, we'll share more information about why there is a need for rate adjustments and what those changes look like over the course of the next 4 years. And we'll provide an example of how these rate adjustments will impact a typical customer's bill. Fourth, we'll discuss the timeline of the proposed rate adjustment, the public hearing, and how you can continue to stay informed and involved throughout this process. And last, we'll answer your questions and concerns. We are here for you as a resource and welcome feedback and questions from those customers that we serve every day. Now I will turn it over to Juan for an overview of our system.
Thanks, Allie. As you know, drinking water and wastewater services are some of the most essential and often invisible functions to keep our city running smoothly. From delivering safe, clean drinking water to responsibly managing wastewater, our department plays a critical role in protecting public health, supporting economic growth, and ensuring environmental stewardship. Our public utilities team manages a vast and complex system that delivers clean drinking water and safely treats wastewater for our community. We want to provide you with an overview of the complex and incredibly important service we provide. We'd like to start with a short video that provides a brief overview that's also available on our website before we dig into more details in the presentation.
Most of us don't think twice about our water or wastewater. It's just there when we need it. Behind the scenes, it takes round-the-clock energy, infrastructure, and dedicated people to keep it all flowing. The City of San Diego's Public Utilities Department includes 13 divisions and 2,000 employees. They provide safe, reliable drinking water to 1.4 million people and manage wastewater for more than 2.3 million across the region. So where does our water come from? San Diego is a dry region and relies heavily on imported water. The city buys most of it from the San Diego County Water Authority. Once it arrives, water is treated and delivered through a hidden network of pumps, tanks, and pipelines. All unseen infrastructure that ensures water reaches homes and businesses safely. Meanwhile, wastewater is removed and treated to repurpose for irrigation and industrial use. By 2035, the city's Pure Water program will repurpose this wastewater to supply nearly half of San Diego's water. This vast network of more than 6,300 miles of pipelines is essential for health, safety, and our future. To keep services flowing, the city is planning for adjustments to water and wastewater rates, which, if approved, will begin to take effect in January 2026. We're launching a comprehensive public outreach effort. Learn what's changing, why it matters, and how you can get involved on our website.
Okay, now here's a snapshot of our operations, our size, staffing, and scope. We manage roughly 6,300 miles of water and wastewater pipelines, which is enough to stretch from San Diego to New York and back. We do that with nearly 2,000 team members in 13 different divisions. There are 1.4 million residents that count on us every day for clean, safe drinking water, and 2.3 million customers that rely on us for wastewater services across the region. We operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. San Diego's water system is among the largest and most advanced in the country, stretching from Escondido to the U.S.-Mexican border. It supports a wide range of terrain and population centers from coastal neighborhoods to inland valleys. It must respond to shifting demand at all hours. Maintaining reliable service across this vast area requires a precisely coordinated system. Water flows through hundreds of facilities and control points, including filtration plants, pump stations, and pressure zones that constantly adjust to keep water moving safely and efficiently. While the system works quietly in the background, our team's monitoring and maintaining it every day to ensure customers receive clean, dependable water no matter where they live and when they need it. Similar to our drinking water system, our wastewater system is one of the largest in California and the country. San Diego's wastewater system serves over 2 million people that relies on thousands of miles of pipeline and more than 80 pump stations to move flow from homes and businesses to major treatment facilities. It operates around the clock and must be highly resilient because a single failure can quickly lead to a serious consequence for public health and the environment. To prevent that, we invest in maintenance, system upgrades, and emergency preparedness. And with Pure Water San Diego, we're turning wastewater into a future water supply, a move that'll increase our local sustainability and reduce dependence on imported water supplies. Now let's dive into where our water actually comes from. San Diego is a beautiful place to live, but it's also one of the driest cities in the US, averaging only 10 inches of rainfall per year. We're also literally at the end of the state's water pipeline. That means the water we use every day must travel long distances, often hundreds of miles through deserts and mountains to finally reach us. As you can imagine, that journey is expensive. To meet our community's needs, the city purchases between 70 to 90% of our water from the San Diego County Water Authority. The Water Authority brings in water from two main sources: the State Water Project in Northern California and the Colorado River, both depicted here on this slide. The Water Authority is the water wholesaler for our region, serving 22 agencies throughout San Diego County, including us here at the city. They do not sell directly to customers, but they supply the water that we and other cities and water districts deliver to homes and businesses. The Water Authority adopts a 2-year budget, but sets its wholesale water rates once a year. That process starts in the spring and usually wraps up in the summer, with new rates going into effect the following January. The costs imposed by the Water Authority directly impact your bill. The City of San Diego does have a voice at the Water Authority. In fact, we have 10 appointed representatives who serve on the Water Authority's board on behalf of our community. As a reminder, in the late 90s and early 2000s, the Water Authority entered into long-term contracts to purchase certain amounts of water they projected the region would need. Those supplies are in the form of take-or-pay contracts. Fast forward to today, water conservation and increased water use efficiency have resulted in far lower water use than what was previously projected. In other words, the Water Authority now has a contractual obligation to purchase water supplies that exceed the overall total water demand of the San Diego region. This poses a long-term structural issue for the water authority that in turn threatens its financial sustainability. The city's representatives on the board are working to ensure the water authority's operation and financial policies reflect current challenges, including pushing for transparent cost efficiencies and responsible financial planning with ratepayer affordability in mind. This year, as an example, the Water Authority initially proposed an 18% rate increase. Thanks to the work of our representatives and their colleagues on the board, the effective rate increase for 2026 was 8.3%. It's important to note that this is their effective rate increase, meaning it doesn't directly translate into the same percentage increase for our City of San Diego water customers. Before transitioning to the next slide, we'd also like to encourage public participation in the Water Authority meetings to make sure community voices are heard and considered in key decisions. And while the purchase of water from the Water Authority is the single largest cost driver in our system, it's only one small piece of the overall operational picture. This graphic shows the full journey of our water, from its origins in the State Water Project in Colorado River, all the way down through our city's water and wastewater system. What is clear here is that the City of San Diego operates a highly complex and sophisticated network that manages both the delivery of clean drinking water and the treatment of wastewater after it leaves homes and businesses. We manage thousands of miles of pipelines, dozens of pump stations, pressure zones, and treatment facilities, and all of it needs to stay in good working order. This infrastructure is essential not only for public health and safety, but for long-term reliability, sustainability, and future growth. So while the Water Authority's costs play a major role in our rates, the investments we make to maintain and modernize our own systems are also really important. I'll now turn it over to Lisa to walk through the proposed rate adjustments and why they're needed.
Thanks, Juan. As the cost of providing essential water and wastewater services continues to rise, adjustments are needed to ensure the city can maintain and invest in the infrastructure that keeps our region running. This section provides an overview of the proposed rate adjustments, the reasons behind them, and what we expect moving forward. While the rate adjustments is needed to address rising costs and assure fiscal stability, our teams will need to proactively manage potential concerns about equity and economic impacts for customers on fixed incomes. There are four main reasons increases in water and wastewater rates are needed. First, the regional reliance on imported water and rising wholesale costs from the San Diego County Water Authority continues to increase. Costs have gone up 54% since 2016. Energy, labor, materials, and regulatory compliance all continue to go up. Energy costs are up 30%, and water treatment chemical costs are up 100% in recent years. The infrastructure that keeps our system running, from pipelines to treatment plants, has a limited lifespan. The city needs to continue to invest in the ongoing maintenance and replacement of our system. Further, delaying repairs or replacements comes at higher prices. Deferred maintenance has historically led to costly water main breaks and emergency repairs, which are far more expensive than proactive investments. And with construction of Pure Water Phase 1 surpassing the 80% mark, we will commence operations of Pure Water Phase 1 in 2026. As you can see on this slide, 40% of what you pay on your water bill goes directly to purchasing water from the San Diego County Water Authority. And at nearly $350 million, it's by far the single largest non-personnel expense in the city's entire budget. This also means that when the Water Authority raises its rates, the city feels it immediately. The city has limited control of these costs, but we still have a responsibility to plan for them, respond to them, and communicate them clearly to our customers. That's why we place such a strong emphasis on representing the city's interests on the Water Authority board. We are mindful of how this impacts affordability. As such, we have taken the actions outlined on this slide within the last year to save nearly $360 million and mitigate rate impacts to our customers without compromising service. To put this in context, without these measures, we would have needed an additional 30 to 35% increase in rates during this period. These strategic efforts have included using stored water and fund reserves, delaying capital projects, and updating our summer sales projections. A data-driven asset management approach and in-house project delivery have allowed us to enhance efficiency, avoid premature replacements, and cut costs on key infrastructure repairs. Customer-focused technology upgrades, consultant contract evaluations, and collaborative regulatory adjustments also contributed to significant savings and improved service outcomes. This chart shows the projected rate adjustments over the next 4 years and helps illustrate the difference between the costs we largely control and those where our control is more limited. At the top, you will see the proposed rate increases from the San Diego County Water Authority. These reflect the rising cost of purchasing imported water. As you can see, they are significant. These are costs we must absorb as a water purchaser and one we have limited control over. It is worth noting that despite the Water Authority Board recently adopting an effective 8.3% rate increase for 2026, we are showing here the Water Authority's rates rising by 13.6%. This is because there isn't a one-for-one impact on rates adopted at the Water Authority in the impact on our customers. This first row of increases reflects what is needed to support both the imposed rate increases set by the Water Authority and the volumes of water purchased from them. Below that row, you will see the proposed increases for the city's water and wastewater systems. These are based on the actual cost of operating and maintaining our own infrastructure, like treatment plants, pipelines, and pump stations. While we have limited control on wholesale water prices, we are taking a careful, measured approach to managing the systems we have direct control of. These increases are designed to ensure our systems remain safe, reliable, and financially stable while avoiding larger, more painful costs down the lines. You may notice that in 28 and 2029, the share of costs attributed to purchase water from the Water Authority decreases relative to the overall increase in water and wastewater rates. This shift is due to the intentional deferral of some of our own system rate adjustments in 26 and 27 to help buffer the community from the full impact of the Water Authority's rate increases during those years. As a result, we'll begin to make up some of that ground in 28 and 29 with modest rate increases to support the ongoing maintenance and investment in our own infrastructure. Now, you may be thinking about what this will look like when your bill arrives. We have an example of what this rate adjustment will look like for a typical single-family residential customer. This slide translates the rate adjustments into actual dollars and cents for the average single-family residential customer. Someone with a 5/8 or 3/4 inch meter using about 900 cubic feet of water per month. In 2026, the biggest driver of this increase is the wholesale water costs from the Water Authority, adding about $16 more per month. In contrast, the city's portion of the water rate increase will be $1.29 and wastewater by 80 cents. You'll see a similar trend in 2027 with the city's water and wastewater costs modestly rising to reflect inflation, system maintenance, and infrastructure needs. Still, they remain a smaller portion of the total impact compared to the cost of imported water. I'll turn it back over to Allie to go over the timeline of the process and review additional opportunities for all of you to continue staying involved and informed.
Thanks, Lisa. As you can see here, on this slide, PUD released its cost of service studies last December, which outlined the revenue required to maintain our operations and the essential public health service that we are responsible for delivering. In late July, City Council voted to set a public hearing date for September 30th. The public hearing is the City Council's opportunity to consider the rate proposal we've outlined for you. Following that City Council vote to set the public hearing, we mailed all customers the Proposition 218 notice you received in the mail earlier this month. Between now and September 30, we will be holding 2 additional community meetings beyond tonight with a presentation identical to what you've seen today. If on September 30th, the rate increases are approved by City Council, they would go into effect January 1, 2026. We are very grateful to all of you who have taken time out of your day to learn more about our water and wastewater systems and the proposed rate adjustments. There are still several opportunities to continue staying involved and informed as we move closer to that September 30th public hearing on the rate adjustment. For those of you who are just getting involved, we encourage you to visit our website to get a broader understanding of the rate adjustment. There are, as I mentioned, 2 more virtual community meetings that we welcome you to attend on Tuesday, September 9th and Monday, September 15th, both from 6 to 7 p.m. We also encourage you to watch our recorded presentations to both the Environment Committee and full City Council, where we dive deeper into our strategies for the future of our water and wastewater services. Now we are going to open it up to questions from all of you. And if you haven't already, just a reminder to please feel free to send in any questions or concerns you may have via the Zoom Q&A box. Okay, and it looks like we have a question in the chat, and it is one of the most common ones we get when we talk about water and wastewater rates. Juan, can you help explain why are the water rate adjustments needed?
Yeah, of course. That's a really important question. So let me break it down. The short answer is it costs more every year to provide safe, reliable water. The biggest factor, as we mentioned in the presentation, is the cost of imported water that the city buys from the San Diego County Water Authority. We've seen a 54% increase in those pass-through rates since roughly 2016. On top of that, everything we rely on to run the system, like energy, labor, treatment chemicals, meeting state and federal regulations, all keeps getting more expensive. For example, energy costs alone are up 30%, and treatment chemicals, the chemicals that we use for our treatment facilities have nearly doubled since just last year alone. We also have to keep up with the infrastructure like the pipelines, pump stations, and the treatment plants to make sure that the water reaching your home and wastewater is safely removed from your home every single day. Think of it like taking care of your car. Regular maintenance really, costs a lot of money, but it prevents bigger, more expensive problems down the road. So if we delay repairs or replacement, it ends up costing everyone more because emergency fixes and water main breaks are much more expensive and impactful than planned maintenance. So these adjustments are really about keeping pace with rising costs and making sure that our system stays reliable for the long term.
Thanks, Juan. We do have another question in the chat. Lisa, the question is, what does my water bill actually pay for?
Another good question that we do get often asked us. So to give an overview, it's first off, your bill pays for the full service of providing water, and that is providing safe, reliable water and removing and treating wastewater from your home. That means everything from buying the water, treating it, delivering it to your tap, to carrying wastewater away and making sure it's treated to meet strict environmental standards. As a reminder, the single largest expense that we incur is buying water from the San Diego County Water Authority. That's about 40% of your bill. And unfortunately, those costs are set by the Water Authority, not the city. So we have limited control about it. And that is really important in regards to what Juan was talking about, is our representatives doing their best efforts to get that reduced. If we could go back to slide 14, I also want to highlight a couple other things. As a reminder, buying water is about $350 million. As identified, that represents what of your bill, 40% of your bill is going to buying the water. 22% is going to storing, treating, and delivering the water. 18% is financing the infrastructure that is needed to deliver safe, clean drinking water, like pipelines and treatment plants. 11% is for technical support to keep the systems running smoothly. 5% is for billing and maintaining customer meters. And then 4% is planning and construction for Pure Water, our local water supply program. In short, your bill isn't just paying for the water itself, it's funding the people, infrastructure, and treatment systems that make sure that clean water reliably reaches your home and wastewater is safely taken away and treated.
Thanks, Lisa. I do see another question in the chat. And I know we touched on this in the presentation, but the question is, what is the city doing to reduce the impact of the rising costs? Juan, do you want to go ahead and take that question?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about that. We know customers are really feeling the pressure of higher costs everywhere. The grocery store, the gas pump station, and of course, utility bills across the board. That's why our department's made a big effort to control the costs that we can. And referring back to this slide, over the past year, we've taken a lot of steps that have saved nearly $360 million to really help reduce the impact on our customers' rates. So here are a few examples. Smarter use of resources and budget optimization saved us about $260 million. Condition assessments and better asset management, basically making sure we repair and replace our equipment at the right time, saved us about $87 million. There have been workforce efficiency improvements that we've worked on, saving more than $1.5 million. And investments in customer-focused technology, things like better billing tools and engagement platforms also saved us $7.5 million. And by working closely with regulators and adjusting some projects, we saved another $2 million. So while we can't control the rising cost of imported water and some of the other expenses, we are actively tightening our own belt to keep costs as low as possible for customers.
Great, thanks, Juan. Do you have one more question in the chat? How do San Diego's rates compare to other cities in the region? You know, that's something people often wonder and think about, and I'll go ahead and take that one. So even with the proposed rate adjustments that we have talked through tonight, San Diego's water and wastewater rates are still below the countywide average. So what you are seeing here on this slide is a comparison of what our city of San Diego customers' bills would look like in January 1 of 2026 compared to all of the other agencies listed on this slide that may be a little bit challenging to read, but the 22 other member agencies within the county of San Diego. So you'll see here that this context is important even when you consider the size and complexity of our system, because as we mentioned, we are the largest and most intricate water and wastewater system in the San Diego region. So while costs are going up everywhere, we are committed to keeping our rates as affordable as possible. And what you're seeing here on this slide is that we are staying below the county average, carefully balancing the need and investing in our own the reliability of our own infrastructure, also while ensuring we're doing everything we can on behalf of customers to keep costs reasonable. And so with those questions answered, I'm not seeing any other questions in the Q&A box at this time. Give everyone another minute here to see if there's any additional questions or feedback or concern if they want to offer. Seeing no other questions or comments in the Q&A section, I do want to just take another opportunity to thank you all tonight for participating in this discussion. As I mentioned, there are plenty of opportunities to stay informed and connected. We encourage you to attend the other two community meetings we'll be holding later, I guess, this coming month, and are available to answer any questions in those forums as well. So thank you again to all of you who participated tonight. With that, we will